Hi guys, welcome to Safe Space. I'm just grounding, coming back to center. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Quite a few. I have been also. Coffee, water. I got my cards here. Wanted to tap in for today's energy and also for Scorpio season. You may or may not have felt the intensity already, but I feel a whole lot of that coming right now. All of the messages and downloads that I have been getting also, I have been taking notes on. Welcome. Let's take a few more deep breaths, and then we'll go ahead and get into shuffling these cards. I do also feel that Scorpio season is more about more of a gathering stage. This is us knowing when to pause, knowing when to stop, giving thanks to our body, our physical body, giving thanks to our plants, watering our plants, nurturing also our body, nurturing also our inner worlds. Knowing when to pause, reciting positive affirmations. You could be at work doing a task, and in the moment you feel the need to just say, I am grateful, I affirm this, I affirm that. Always knowing where you are with your center, speaking to yourself as well, and listening to yourself speak these positive affirmations help us reprogram ourselves healthily. This also calls for big changes, is what I'm getting. Changes in careers, changes in relationships mostly. I think I feel this mostly also. We talked about speaking with ourselves, and speaking with ourselves, let's say that it's the first thing that we do when we wake up in the morning. This also is a big part of us that keeps us going, keeps us motivated, especially for introverts. I want to point this out. Heavy emphasis also on our introverts who struggle a lot with having to overthink, and when in a predicament and having to choose in which path to go. Introverts, we have this tendency to not speak so much about it, and not even to our loved ones. We keep our life private as much as possible. During a Scorpio season, this also you may be hiding a little bit more than usual. Take this as it resonates. But also know that this time around, I feel, is like the gathering stage where you might be one to write a lot during this season. Every season we find so many things, so many new things about ourselves that we don't even know yet. It just blooms, every day, a different layer of us. And so this season would be the gathering stage for some of us. We're writing a lot, we're singing a lot, we're dancing, we're expressing a lot in so many different ways, and not just expressing through art, and not just expressing through singing and moving your body, and not just expressing through writing, but also having to express a whole lot of it to yourself. Meanwhile, also hearing yourself while you, and having to forgive, and also having to accept a whole lot about the self. Of course, I have my notes with me. I also would like to do a prayer before we get into shuffling these cards. Drink some water, drink some coffee. I love this setup. I love the ambiance right now. I thought it would be a perfect time to do this. Also, if we want to take those few breaths, man, let's do that. I'm just getting ready, trying to stay centered here, getting the messages as clearly as possible. You guys, I miss being in front of the camera. I miss speaking and expressing and flowing and in the comfort. So much of it. And I hope that you are too. You're in a comfortable spot wherever you are, or even like what I mean by like comfortable, you're finding comfort in all areas of your life, and not just where you are sitting right now or standing, wherever you are. I don't know your life, man. This is prayer for awareness. I just painted my nails. Today, Creator of the universe, we ask that you open our heart and open our eyes so we can enjoy all of your creations and live in eternal love with you. Help us to see you in everything we perceive with our eyes, with our ears, with our heart, with all of our senses. Let us perceive with eyes of love so that we find you wherever we go and see you in everything you create. Let us see you in every cell of our body, in every emotion of our mind, in every dream, in every flower, in every person we meet. You cannot hide from us because you are everywhere and we are one with you. Let us be aware of this truth. Let us be aware of our power to create a dream of heaven where everything is possible. Do you hear the wind chimes in the background? Help us to use our imagination to guide the dream of our life, the magic of our creation, so we can live without fear, without anger, without jealousy, without envy. Give us the light to follow, and let today be the day that our search for love and happiness is over. Today, let something extraordinary happen that will change our life forever. Let everything we do and say be an expression of the beauty in our heart, always based on love. Help us to be the way you are, to love the way you love, to share the way you share, to create a masterpiece of beauty and love. The same way that all of your creations are masterpieces of beauty and love. Beginning today and gradually over time, help us to increase the power of our love so that we may create a masterpiece of art, our own life. It is your canvas. It is as empty as it is. Take your colors, pick your colors, and create your own, right? Today, Creator, we give you all of our gratitude and love because you have given us life. Thank you, Spirit. And thank you for being here. We in a safe space. Back to our notes here. When we speak to ourselves and affirming positive affirmations, reciting positive affirmations, we manifest the same things. The words we choose, we manifest the same things. How we are with our mind, where we are with our mind, where we are with our heart aligned with our body. This is also a way of having to manifest the things that we want quickly and easily, and one that is harmless. Take it as it resonates. Scorpio season being it having to be about transformation. I feel that a lot of this transformation also is coming from our behavioral patterns. This transformation is also rooted in how we speak and how we are using bigger vocabulary when we are out there presenting ourselves, but also having to face ourselves and being in our awareness, I suppose. Speaking of awareness, heavy emphasis also on sensory overload. We may, in having to go through this process of change and transformation in this season, there may be a lot of heightened senses. Scorpio being it very clairvoyant, very attuned with their emotions, very psychic as well. Okay, take this as it resonates. And this season may make you feel very heavy on your senses, also heavy heart. Needed to add that. And when you do feel this sense of heavy heart, what would be best for anything, if you are feeling an emotion or any emotion that comes up, or any feeling, that really big emotion, it's like a wave just came at you out of nowhere, it's overwhelming. Always best to, maybe what would be best is to sit with it and let it speak to you as you listen to music, as you paint, as you do your little channeling, how I channel, how I want to get to know my emotions. I love that. But heavy emphasis on that sensory overload. Also heavy emphasis on ringing in the ears. Awareness or sharpening. Our senses are also sharpening at this time during Scorpio season, so this may come up for you a lot as well. Take this as it resonates also. This is our general collective reading that I am doing at this time. Scorpio season can feel so intense. And I'm having to express a whole lot of this, I feel. And it's great because I'm learning a whole lot about my authenticity as I do this. And it's also very important to get to know that part of us as well. That's a really big part of us that I feel needs to be expressed, right? Our authenticity is very much appreciated, and also is one to be honored, most definitely. And having to get to know our authenticity, we have to ground ourselves, find ourselves in a place where we feel comfortable with ourselves, and not having to too much please other people around us at this time. Or we may be one to, sit in the middle of a crowd, or sit in the middle of a group session, and being very quiet and being very aware and just being very watchful with your surroundings. Understandable during this season. I think that we're just having to just really observe, but be very watchful of ourselves, not too much, and not putting too much on our focus on other people, or even having to compare ourselves to other people, but really having to honor what's in here, most importantly, and not forgetting that we have a side of us that needs healing. And while you are transforming, perhaps in this season, while we are having to transform, we are shedding a big part of us as well. Tackling and accepting will help this. Just grounding yourself and doing a lot of self-accepting is what I'm getting here. And as we shed a whole big part of us that's just not, it's just not serving any purpose anymore, that part of us is shedding, and we're getting to know this whole new identity that we're stepping into. And that's a lot. And so we are required to sit with it and ground ourselves. This is where we find the richness in things, right? This is where we find the juices, like the treasures, is having to be in the here and now. Slowing down and not thinking too much of what will happen, but to keep that in mind, but also what is presented to you in this time, in this moment in time. Is probably giving you more than what you expected. And so also having to think about the future and having to think about what will happen, it really is irrelevant. In this season, there may also be a lot of us thinking about our plans. These are like little plans, or maybe even long-term plans. strategizing. We're doing a lot of resting, resetting when I am at work. And I know that I am definitely having sensory overload. I will step out and let them know, I need to reset. To me, this is taking deep breaths, allowing myself to be away from the crowd for a minute and letting myself come at center. We can also be very easily get influenced by other people's energies. And so when we are one, let's say, for example, if you are an empath, also if you, shout out to our introverts, and you're taking in so much of the sensory overload, this too can very much knock you off your equilibrium. And you may also take this with you at home, in your own sanctuary, in your own comfort. A way to release this at this time, I would say it's accepting. We're going through so much when it comes to having to handle and manage our emotions. And sometimes we drive off and we let our emotions get the best of us and we lose control. And so having to reset is that positive affirmation for us, and giving thanks to the physical body, knowing when to stop. Let's get into this reading, you guys. I'm excited. What makes us... Also, I want to add, you guys, our emotions can get the best of us, but also having to tap into our emotions and also expressing vulnerability. This makes us powerful. This is powerful. This is our own inner power, if you will. Most definitely. And when we accept this big part of us, everything comes to us is clear, right? When we accept ourselves, when we accept every part of ourselves, everything comes to us clearly. All of a sudden we hear clearly, we see things clearly, and a whole new different worldview, I suppose. Seeing and feeling and listening from a higher frequency. It's kind of like when you change the radio station and the frequency changes. It's kind of like that. What you may also be feeling in that ringing in your ears is what's happening also. It's having to reset your frequency. You are at a higher frequency. You feel things at a higher spirit. You see things from a higher spirit. You feel things from a higher spirit. And this is you having to take the next step up, the next level, you having to be willing and believing and understanding of your own self. But I feel like I'm getting a lot of this acceptance coming in, and that's great, because in having to accept a big part of us, this is allowing us to open ourselves up to new opportunities. Ace of Pentacles. And also the body, in having to rest the body, like that's also abundance that we're saving here, in moments when you have the sensory overload, in moments when we do feel anxiety, when we feel anxious, when we feel nervous. And in the most simplest things, this too can change when we just take a pause and let ourselves allow, most importantly, allow ourselves to feel our feelings and feel and understand our emotions. I was just talking about abundance. The Empress here, second card. I'm using the Dancing in the Tarot deck. Again, this is abundance. Your body, your physical body that you're allowing to rest more and more and more and more. That too, you're having to gain so much more richness. There's just so much more value you are adding to your body, because your body too is your temple. That too is of value, right? We have the Chariot, Major Arcana. A lot of this changes coming in every direction. You may be having to face a lot of the changes that are happening, that are coming to you at this time, and it may be coming to you very fast when you are least expecting it. Things just come to us when we are patient, and when we are patient enough, when we are, I suppose, doing the inner work that we're supposed to do, that things just come to us unexpectedly because we're just present in the moment. And that's the most beautiful thing, is when you're just immersed in yourself, grounded in yourself, things just come to you, surprises you, and gives you even more, sometimes tenfold, you know? We have the Ten of Swords. And that what may be coming back to you, you are having to pay for all of it. Take that as it resonates. Whatever is coming to you, coming back to you, you are now realizing a whole lot of you that was taken away, or in some circumstances, for some of us, it means that things or your value, what might have felt like somebody stole it from you, something stole something from you, somebody made you feel a little less than yourself, and that what may be coming back to you is everything that you've given out, and you too are having to stop yourself from self-sabotage. I love that. Exactly, the Temperance, the Fool. This is you now having to take on what I'm getting also with the Chariot here. Yes, you're having to, a lot of changes are presenting itself to you in every direction. Relationships, careers. This may also be just you having to find, discover a whole part of you that was suppressed for so long and is now just coming to face you. You having to be aware of it now is all new to you, transforming. You're just blooming, you're shining, the more that you are with yourself and the more you give to yourself. And also sometimes you got to take that risk, the sacrifices that you make, you know. Things just so happens to present itself at the time that it does because you had done something about it. Three. We have the Three of Wands, the Three of Swords. I'll show you guys exactly during, you had done something here, Three of Swords. This is seeing past your pain, okay? This is seeing past a situation and you being more accepting of it. Do you see this sense of serenity in this Three of Wands, and how I'm getting this vibe from him, like whatever may face me, whatever obstacle, challenges may come to me, you know, I will take this head on, and I will use my power to tackle this. This is tackling and accepting and tackling and accepting and doing that over and over and over and over again until we are at a place where we are comfortable. When we found our self-comfort, a place we can call home, our safe space, whatever you want to call it. 7 of Pentacles, your safe space, your garden, your game room, your bedroom, living room, your patio. The place where you go and always feel like you can just be. Things grow from here, things shine and bloom from here. You know, this is the place where you come and rest. This is a place where you stop and pause. This is a place where you give thanks and sleep well at night. This is a place where you come back to and feel powerful at the end of the day, because this too you've planted on your own. And that when you don't feel safe somewhere else, you can always come back to this place, what we call safe space. And this is a place where you can affirm to yourself that this is the place that I have cultivated within myself, and this one is okay. This one is stable. This one is security. I like that. I like it a lot. Some words to keep in mind during Scorpio season, and I love this so much, and you can take this with you. You also may be embodying this nobility. You're embodying this at this time. You know, when you're facing something really, really hard, but you're pushing through and pushing through and pushing through and believing and always staying true to yourself. Nobility, that's honoring yourself. That is when you choose yourself as opposed to having to choose something that doesn't feel so right to you or it doesn't sit well with you, but instead you come back to yourself and you tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to give to myself than to this situation or to this person that doesn't mean anything to me, really. A nobility, that's having to honor yourself, standing up for yourself, standing up for your beliefs. I love that. Assertiveness, where I think what I was feeling when the Scorpio, for the Scorpios, the messages that came in to me for the Scorpios was assert yourself. We are having to, as we go through this development, this personal development, spiritual development with our Scorpios, and during this season, there is a lot of having to assert ourselves, right? Assert ourselves in conversations, in group, large settings, assert ourselves when we are out there making a speech, assert ourselves in class when we are making a speech in class, assert ourselves out in public when we're showing face to our friends and family, assert ourselves in a different way. It's a different kind of tone. Also, what you will notice in your body language, it speaks volumes, is what I'm picking up. What I was talking about earlier about authenticity, how much when we choose to honor also our authenticity, how much of that we are radiating out, inspiring one another when we come from authenticity. It's not one of familiar, but that is one of hope. Scorpio season will also bring in, and as much as you want it to, how bad do you want it when you speak your words, how much you're manifesting, okay? And the actions, your intentions, what are your intentions behind your goals? What are our intentions behind this relationship or this situation that I'm in or this person that I'm in, you know, and without having to harm each other, without having to harm the relationship, without having to harm the friendship without having to harm one another, or even this sense of like sabotage, you know, instead of, we have a choice. We can either be willing to understand someone or not at all. You know, it's, I suppose, how bad we want how bad we want to be at a higher frequency. Good luck. What I mean by this is prosperity and the abundance that you're bringing about in your world, the abundance that you're bringing to yourself. And this isn't just like good luck that, you know, yes, you get the little omens, you know, during your day, and you see it everywhere, you see the signs, you see, but it's the good luck that you bring to yourself. It also comes from healing the physical body, and also having to heal the physical body. You're thanking your ancestors, you're thanking what you already have, you're thanking and appreciating basically your human design. And as you do this, you are bringing about abundance into your life without bringing abundance to your life, if that makes sense. It's not just like paper money, you know what I mean? This is abundance in mind and spirit that you keep with you wherever you go, right? You just so become like the fucking God that you are, and you radiate that out to the world, and then you inspire other people, and other people are inspired to do the same thing, and then it's like a domino effect, you know? Rebirth, grace, being the visionary that you are, keeping your vision, keeping your focus where it is, being authentic. This is inspired actions. This is verbal or non-verbal. It doesn't fucking matter. You can tell. You will tell. When you see a person walk into a room, you just know. These are also inherent skills that we are developing. You know, we are passing this on to generations from now. This is wealth in mind, body, and spirit, and having to. So when we have a moment when you choose to suppress your emotions, you're also suppressing a whole bunch of prosperity and abundance in you. You know what I mean? Letting things come to a higher ground. I love that. Number 3 is very significant right now. 6 of Wands. Ooh, excuse me, guys. The 6 of Wands here. I kind of love that light is coming in. That's pretty cool. I think that as we ascend, per se, okay, in this season when we are having to show up as we are and not having to pretend so much, right? This too, you're also welcoming abundance into your life. You're also welcoming more into your life because you're allowing yourself to be more for yourself. Excuse me. Absolutely, creating a solid foundation, yes. When we take pride, we take pride in what it is we are having to establish in our inner world. Okay, let's say right now we're having to take care of something in our life that isn't working out the way we want to, but maybe it isn't working out in the way we want to because there are things aligned for us right? And it's not yet finished, I suppose. Sometimes when our inner world feels it is being threatened, or even in our choices in our life, you know, when we express our choices to our family, to a family member, or to our friends, and they're not so agreeable with it, but you're so sure and you feel it in your gut, and you tell yourself, this is what's right, this is what makes me feel happy. You know, these are the choices that sometimes are being threatened, sometimes being overlooked or being overpowered. These are the moments also where we have to assert ourselves and remember our authenticity, and remember that this part of us is valid, and that if it makes us happy and the choices we make makes us happy, why not go with that? Instead of having to tune it out because someone else is tuning it out, you know? We are not all in the same path, and someone else's happiness might not be yours just yet. Your happiness might not be others just yet. You know, they're so close to it, but they're not there. But you know where you are, right where you are, and you know the things that you have done to get where you are. And that if right now in this season, a lot of these choices are not coming to you very clearly, it's because we are having to accept more of ourselves. We're having to do a lot more digging than usual, because it maybe comes from a deeper place, maybe comes from a deeper core, you know? And that these choices that we're having to make, or pushing us to make these choices right here and right now, sometimes we make the choices without even having to look into it, you know? And then we make that mistake later on. It's the not having to slow down enough, is that we don't give ourselves enough time to slow down and to look at what is in the here and now. And choices in how we want to voice our opinions, choices about how we want our inner world to flow. And when this is somehow feels bombarded, or even feels remotely close to being controlled, especially for our Scorpios as well, you know how we do have this trait of being very independent, with our choices, independent in our behaviors and what we choose in our life. And it's important that it comes from us and not from someone who's trying to control, right? We will have a tendency to distance ourselves from this person, from this place, from this thing, situations. Our choices, and the choices we must make authentically in the lifestyle that we are in, let's say. And these are the choices that you know you have to make to get to the next step. You're taking this baby steps. Do what you got to do, follow your intuition, and don't listen to outside voices, period. Making sure that it is one made by you and not by someone who's trying to control the situation. Number one person who may potentially trigger this side of Scorpio is quite possibly your own mother. They know you, they've raised you, they've known you since you were a kid, they changed your diapers, right? They've seen you grow up, they've seen you become the person that you are today. They know us more than anybody in this world. And this may leave a sense of chaos also in life. In times when we do grow apart, there are things that there are also disconnections, right? And this may lead to a not very tasteful relationship with your mother. Take this as it resonates for Scorpio. It is either you're working things out with your mother at this time, you're expressing a whole lot to your mother at this time. This is coming up a lot right now. Thank you, Spirit. expressing a big part of you that has been suppressed, that you quite possibly have not expressed to your own mother or even a mother figure in your life that you have struggled with for years. Excuse me. And meanwhile, while you are healing your heart, finding ourselves, trying to get that part of you when you were a child, this image of your mother controlling you, or even your mother saying unbearable words, or even your mother saying all kinds of ungrateful words, unappreciated words. You are no longer holding on to this side of you anymore. This side of you is gone. This part of you is now shedding. Remember, we're going into transformation. This is shedding. This is coming from an old place and is now having to let that part go. Okay. You are now blooming. You know, rather to choose to be mean, our maturity level is more. When we allow ourselves to let this part of us go, because we know that it's not making me feel any good. You're starting to have questions about yourself again. You're starting to have self-doubt, even though you knew you came from a strong place, but all of a sudden, you know, a very dominant female energy just bombarded you again and made you forget about who you are for maybe like a minute, but it is like now all trickling down, like making you feel less than. We want to get ourselves out of that. More self-control, or we may not have the self-control right now, but take it as it resonates. The maturity level, though, in this season is very much heightened as well. Take it as it resonates. Scorpio season is having us speak up, stand up for what we believe in, speak up for the truth, and not just our truth, but other people's truth too, and that we might have already offended somebody. We are having to also fight for ourselves a lot and defending ourselves, and not so much defending like in a negative way, but defending like, yo, like I've been through a lot, man, like you can't talk to me that way type of thing. Yeah. Setting healthy boundaries, exactly, will help keep things at ease. Solid foundation. This is where we want to be in Scorpio season. Stallion. Grounded. Why we always seem to get caught up in situation when somebody wants to pick a fight. Scorpio, take the drama out the door. We may be a trigger to some. Staying away and having healthy boundaries from bullies will help also ease. Standing up for yourself, getting up, so caught up in others' bullying will not help you heal your body. We are in sharp mind with our tongue and clearing out our subconscious. You know how we can be sharp with our tongue. We may say things that may offend other people. The Hermit, this is a time to just sit, perhaps with your rage. A lot of this resting and resetting is very recommended at this time, to really having to slow down. I too am learning how to slow down. You know, I tell myself when to slow down. I'm already like, I am slowed down. What do you mean? And then I get a little bit of a nudge and it's like, that's not slow enough, you know, like you're stubbing your toe over the fucking place. You're a mess. What are you doing? Or when you know you're not slowing down because your mind is just going and you feel the need to just keep pacing. I do this too. I do this weird thing. I just pace around the house. I'll like literally walk from the dining room to the living room to freaking bedroom to the kitchen, and like not like no fucking destination, bro. I'm just like pacing because my mind's going so fast, you know? And then this time I realized, okay, this is the gathering stage. I need to write. I need to keep writing these thoughts, these feelings, these emotions, because they are overwhelming me. My cup is running. and I need to find my grounding spot. Right. Clearing out subconscious. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. We're seeing things very clearly in Scorpio season. Remember how I was saying higher spirit, higher frequency when we turn on the radio and we're changing the radio station, and different frequencies it comes with. You're having to find yourself at the highest frequency right now. And this what may be coming to you at this time. Also having to lost my words. Finding also yourself in your potential, facing your potential perhaps. You coming into your own awareness with your potential. There you go. 3 of Pentacles with the 8 of Wands. And you over here looking at it like, okay, let me just, take some time. Find myself in a place where I feel comfort, and I'll think about it then. I'll have my smoke, I'll think about it then. I'll have my drink, I'll think about it then. Those kinds of things. We're also struggling with self-control at this time. A lot of self-control is suggested. You guys, we're growing in generosity. I'm picking that up. Thank you. Big, bold expressions. Changes. Taking a pause. Speaking, reciting positive affirmations. Keeping things at a steady pace. Like always. Thank you guys for letting me do this reading. I hope everyone has a great Halloween. Happy Halloween. We'll continue this Scorpio season reading. I will go ahead and post more videos. Upcoming signs. They haven't came to me yet, but I know it will. Have a great Halloween. I love you guys. Take care always, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.